our first delegate will be Alabel Sarangani. Good evening.
Hi. Hi, good evening. I am Meryl Kit Angeline Paraluman. I go by the name Meryl. I am 21 years old and I am representing the municipality of Alabel, Sarangani province. My chosen fauna is bangus, scientifically known as Chanos chanos. It is also the national fish of the Philippines, and I grew up being very exposed to the fishing industry. And as someone living in a coastal province, I have seen that fishing is our main source of livelihood. It is an advocacy that aims to balance economic growth as well as protecting our oceans and making sure that our fishes in the seas are safe, as well as supporting the livelihood of our fishermen. In fact, Alabel has one of the biggest companies across the Philippines that exports bangus globally. On a deeper note, bangus represents our people's hard work, dedication, and perseverance in their chosen field.
My question to you now is, what are the pressing environmental problems in your municipality that you'd like to tell our audience right now, and so that they can learn from your experiences in your municipality?
Yes, so I think not just in my municipality, but this is also a problem in the whole Philippines. It's the waste disposal. We all know that our waste goes into our bodies of water and in fact damaging our reefs and also endangering our fishes. So my municipalities and also my province response to that is we have an ordinance which is the Sarangani Bay Protected Seascape. It is an ordinance that aims to protect Sarangani Bay. And this ordinance is mainly it has been used in 69 towns that benefits Sarangani Bay. So I think that is one of the most prominent action that my province has taken with regards to this problem.
Amazing, very well said.
Yeah.
So I would have one personal question for you. My question would be, it's a bit of a personal question. I wanted to know a little bit more about you and what your hobbies are.
My hobbies? Oh, I have a lot of hobbies. I am a taekwondo player and I am also an arnis and Muay Thai. I do arnis and Muay Thai on my free time during my college days. I was also a varsity in chess. So, and I am very fond of painting. In fact, when you visit my Instagram, it is full of face paintings. I do makeup, my own makeup, and those are just some of my hobbies. I really like to do a lot of things. It just makes me so happy.
Oh, that's so amazing. Our next delegate, it will be Balagtas, Bulacan.
Hello everyone, my name is Trisha Van Eldick, representing the beautiful province of Balagtas, Bulacan. My chosen fauna is the Philippine eagle. As we all know, it is our national bird. So I chosen this as my fauna because it plays a crucial role in our ecosystem. And also, this fauna is responsible for the species on how they could preserve the population. Also, this Philippine eagle is a very strong, which when you see this, I see myself as an eagle. For me, a Philippine eagle preserves our culture of the Philippines, especially that it is our biological heritage. I think that we must preserve our Philippine eagle, especially that it is already endemic. I myself want to be a step of change on how I can preserve these kinds of species, because for me, this is a precious one that we should take care of and look forward to. So I have researched that a Philippine eagle in Rome is called as a messenger of God. And whenever I reread this, I felt myself that I am a Philippine eagle, that I am also a messenger, a spokesperson, someone who could speak for other people and amplify the voice of others. And a Philippine eagle is known to be courageous. Not only that, it also gives us hope as Filipinos. and I stand to be a Filipino. Thank you.
What exactly do you think is going to be the role of Miss Philippines Earth 2022 in preserving the wildlife in the Philippines? How big of a range do you think you have, and influence that you have if ever you win the crown for this environmental cause?
I think the influence that I could have if ever I win the Miss Philippines Earth is of my strength. I really start in small things like on throwing simple trashes and also promoting my advocacy, which is Project Community Cleanup. I am very proud that in our community, we are already implementing this. And I would want to start in my community and share it to others. Because for me, you should always start in small things. And as Miss Philippines Earth, I want to start in small things because I know I could be an influence in that way. I could help in that way. And for me, I could stand as a voice to many persons. Especially, I really love public speaking. I really had the passion of telling what's in my mind, sharing my thoughts. And I think Miss Philippines Earth is like that. Who has a characteristic and has a role model that could inspire many people. And for me, that is one of my characteristics and why I should be chosen as Miss Philippines Earth.
There you go. Thank you so much, Ms. Balagtas, Bulacan.
Why Miss Philippines Earth particularly? Because there are other pageants where you can also talk about environment, but I wanted to know why you chose this one for this year.
I chosen Miss Philippines Earth because I think that I was given a purpose. And Miss Philippines Earth was one of the pageants who have given me a door, an opportunity. And I have took that because I felt that Miss Philippines Earth does not only just deal with the ecosystem, with the animals, with preserving our environment. I think it's more than that. And I felt that being Miss Philippines Earth is a woman who is very empowered to share what she can do and how she can influence to other people. And I think that is why I am here today, because I would like to share, I would like to showcase myself and bring myself to another level, which I could be known as someone who could be a shape in others' lives.
Thank you, Miss Bulacan. Our next delegate is Cadiz City.
Hello everyone! Maayong gabi sa tanan. I am Jaira Aliyah Albinada, representing the City of Wales, Cadiz City, Negros Occidental. So for this year's Miss Philippines Earth, my chosen fauna is a Visayan leopard cat, locally known as Amaral. And I'm gonna share this video about my city and my fauna as well.
Maayong adlaw! I am Jaira Aliyah Albinada, Miss Philippines Earth, Cadiz City, Negros Occidental.
My hometown is renowned as the City of Wales. Cadiz City has its many wonders in the thriving city and the rural areas. As the city continues to develop, it also strives to be eco-friendly. The city's NRO and DENR participates in environmental programs such as Enhanced National Greening Program, Enhanced Biodiversity Protection, Scaling Up of Coastal and Marine Ecosystem, and Improved Land Administration and Management. In fact, last October 2021, 3 juvenile Visayan leopard cats were rescued by the DENR here in Barangay Luna, Cadiz City. These cats are tagged as vulnerable species, especially as they have already lost 90 to 95% of their natural habitat in Panay and Negros. Thus, we must protect this fauna.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the history of why your municipality is dubbed as City of Wales?
Okay, sir. My hometown is renowned as the City of Wales because a number of whales arrived to its shores in several different historical events. Thus, it is the representation of our city right now. It has been, I guess, how many years was that? Already from the
I think
1980s.
1950s. Yeah, 1950s, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. And with that, no, what do you think is the representation of a whale to, the characteristic of the people of Cadiz? Is there any like interconnection between the two? Meron ba?
I guess I see a whale as a very very calm creature. I mean, it's a huge creature, but it does not really harm a lot of people or whoever in the ecosystem that it lives in. So I guess the people here are also that they are huge, approachable people that you meet, and then even whatever problems they face or whatever are the encounters, bad encounters, people still don't harm others, they don't radiate that negativity that when it comes to their characteristic.
Yeah, there you go.
Our next delegate, we will be having Ibaan, Batangas.
Mabuhay Philippines! Mabuhay Earth! I am Renee Colleen Santa Teresa, 21 years old, proud to represent the shining gem of Calabarzon, the municipality of Ibaan, Batangas. And I'm so excited to share with you my chosen fauna for this year's Miss Philippines Earth, and that is none other than the python, or also known as the ball python specifically. So ball pythons are non-venomous members of the snake species. They are primitive and generally not aggressive, and they originated from regions in Central and Western Africa. Their name actually comes from their defensive behavior. So when they feel threatened, they curl up into a ball and hide their head inside instead of like striking or slithering away. They've always been considered as the best pet choice if you want to adopt, and may even live up to 50 years in captivity with proper care. So one last fact I want to share with everyone is that they embrace the roles of a pet. They're very friendly when socialized well. I guess we can call them malambing because they love wrapping themselves around your arms or waist. So I chose ball pythons because number one, I'm very afraid of snakes. I'm terrified. And this is my way of overcoming that, by learning more about them and understanding them better. But at the same time, I want to lessen the negative symbolism of snakes in general, because for so many years, we have associated them with evil and temptation. And by choosing them, I can hopefully shed some light about their positive characteristics and features by educating our audience throughout this journey. So reason number 2 is that pythons shed their skin several times, and because of that, they are symbols of transformation, which I can relate to myself. And as I continue to strive to be a better version of myself, I have to transform, I have to adapt to different situations, and I have to adjust to the changes around me while remaining true to myself. Thank you so much.
How do you plan on educating the youth on protecting wildlife?
Thank you for that question. Well, actually, as a tourism student and a frequent traveler, I have experienced and witnessed firsthand how tourist activities have affected the wildlife. Let's say in zoos, tourist attractions, and by educating them, I have this advocacy, which is the friendly footprints, which starts with informing, but through different webinars or even the little posters that you see on Facebook. Little posters, they can actually be helpful, with the proper source. As long as they're credible sources, we can inform them like how to properly handle, how to properly deal with animals, so that, let's say, when you see an animal that you're afraid of, you know how to deal with it, of course with care, but then you're still gonna have this some sort of information about them. And I think that could be very helpful for the animal as well, because I feel like if you're afraid, your first instinct would be to harm them, and by being educated, you would know how to handle them properly.
What are the other things that you think, if ever you win Miss Philippines Earth, you'd like to focus on aside from like protecting the wildlife? Anong specific advocacy mo na gusto mong i-push talaga given the chance?
I'm so glad you asked that question. My advocacy highlights environmental conservation through sustainable tourism. As I've mentioned, I am a tourism student, and actually my municipality is a shining gem in Calabarzon, which is also a hidden gem. Not many people know us yet, but through my advocacy, I would love to introduce the beauty of Ibaan, Batangas to the earth.
Next delegate, we have the City of Manila.
So, isang makakalikasang araw sa inyong lahat. I am Justine Ortega, an advocate of renewable energy, and once again, back to represent my lovely city of Manila. Now, my chosen fauna is something that may not be familiar to most of us. So allow me tonight to introduce the Philippine bleeding heart pigeon. Now, the first thing you'd probably notice is it really bleeding? Now, fortunately, it is not. Rather, this red patch is actually part of its distinct characteristics. Thus, the name, the bleeding heart. Actually, in the Philippines, there are 5 of them, and they are very important in our ecosystem because they facilitate pollination in our forests. And this pollination is very essential in saving our planet and, of course, saving our lives. I chose this fauna because, according to the IUCN, aside from being endemic and native to our country, unfortunately, back in many years ago, they are considered as critically endangered or highly threatened, which means what may be a rare species now may not exist in the next days, in the next months, or in the next years. And it is all because of their greatest threat, which is massive deforestation. Pigeons aren't the only ones with bleeding hearts, even our Mother Earth. That's why I am inviting everyone to help us heal these bleeding hearts. And of course, together, I am inviting everyone to join me in this fight once again for sustainability, for our planet, and for our lives. Once again, I am Justine Ortega, your Miss Philippines Earth from the city of Manila.
My question is not going to be focused on your solar energy advocacy, because you've talked about it extensively. I'm going to challenge you a little bit. But I'll try to ask because one of the many issues in our city, by the way, I am from Manila as well, Manileans represent, no? One of the issues in Manila recently was the Arroceros Forest Park. Because it's considered as the last lung, of our city. And then you chose this pigeon as your fauna. And how do you think are they interconnected? And what do you think is the main problem or main issue that people can learn from in the story of the Arroceros Forest Park in Manila?
All right. So actually, to share, just last weekend, I was in the Arroceros Forest Park. And unlike in 2020, when I first shot my eco video, I was so proud and happy because it has improved so much. I think it was just a testament that if our government would actually work on these projects and focus on these environmental opportunities that we have in our city or probably even in other places, we know that we can preserve more our environment. So for example, if we replicate this model into areas where we can actually find the Philippine bleeding heart pigeons. Actually, to share, there are also 5 types which you can find in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. So in different forests, they're actually threatened not just by massive deforestation, but as well as hunters. So it's very important for the government to lead the action towards this. And of course, as Miss Philippines Earth, if given the opportunity, we'd like to educate more people that there are a lot of faunas that exist that might not be given proper attention but needs to be taken care of. So
correct.
I have a really quick question that I want to know your opinion on. So I wanted to know what your thoughts are on zoos.
Oh, all right. Interesting question. When I was younger, of course, I was so amazed with zoos because you'd be able to see the animals. But when I grew older, I was thinking, but aren't we putting them into captive? So fortunately, just recently, I had this opportunity to talk to one of the zoo how do you explain it? Zoo officers, not actually here in the Philippines. And I asked them, it was actually about the panda. So aren't we endangering the pandas while we are keeping them inside the zoo? And they actually told us that through these programs wherein they create an environment that is built perfectly for what the animals need, that is how they are preserving these endangered species. Actually, to connect it back to my chosen fauna, which is the Philippine feeding heart pigeon, one of it is the Negros feeding heart pigeon, which can be found not just in the Philippines, but also in Singapore. Because Philippines and Singapore has this agreement that because it is rare and it can no longer breed itself because it's very elusive inside, we actually gave or loaned our fauna there, or our Philippine feeding heart there, in order for them to reproduce. So in the future, we can ensure that they will still exist. So fortunately, through this education, through these officers, I think this is something that we can do, and something that we can maximize in the future when people talk about are zoos really important, or how do they really help in protecting our faunas.
I agree. Thank you. Very informative.